But guys, how does this make sense? Nigerian president just signed a policy to stop health workers from migrating, leaving Nigeria. They call it the National Policy on Health Workforce Migration. 56 pages is a whole book. The policy promises to make working in Nigeria attractive, so much so that health workers abroad will start running back to Nigeria to work. It promises to provide incentives like skill training, mental well-being support for health workers, reasonable working hours, routine health checkup for health workers, possible mortgage plan, but it does not include increasing their salaries or allowances. By the way, they are not just living because of salaries. You guys know that the extremely poor condition of service in Nigeria is another reason the health workers are leaving. No power, no electricity, no water. We're talking about federal hospitals. Equipment breaking down left and right. They don't have so many equipment, by the way. Little things like oxygen tank, BP monitor, they are sharing it among different wards. If you hear stories coming out of Nigerian hospitals, you will shake your head. Now, this same policy says that government at all levels shall provide basic amenities, electricity, water. I'm like, shoo, who has been providing it all along? Or let me say, who has refused to provide it all along? Isn't it the same government? Now, seeing as the health minister is my father, let me start by being a good girl. Bonnie, I like you. You know, let me know that for you. He's actually my father. No, like for you, he's my father. I like you. Do you know that you can do whatever you say you want to do? You can revamp our health sector without telling them not to leave. Because first of all, we all know that nurses and doctors are living in droves. So we know that we have a huge problem. But do you know that you can revamp our health sector? You can do all these things you wrote in your 56 pages without telling them not to leave. Do you know you can do that? Because according to you, what you're about to do will make people want to come back to work in Nigeria. So why not just do it and let them start running back home? But for you to now say that they are not allowed to leave when you are not treating them well, you are not increasing their salaries. No, don't beg me. That is witchcraft. I want Jennyman Seba Benny. Why didn't you tell the government officials, including the Mr. President that signed your policy, to stop going abroad for treatment? Why don't we start from there? Benny, translate that. Of course, you don't know. If you are sure of your method, you're supposed to put it in action first, and then let all these doctors and nurses start running back, begging you to work in Nigeria. Or is it that you don't want them to beg you? But you cannot tell them not to leave when you have not executed any of the policies, and especially when you have no plans to increase their salaries.
Are you increasing? If you're not increasing, there are those who will say you are not serious just yet. Are you increasing the salaries, the allowances, the wages of medical practitioners or doctors in Nigeria?
Now, anyone that asks the question that you have just asked, I will say, let them understand a little bit better economics.
Daddy, do you not know that on the same day that you released your 56-page policy that doctors should not leave, do you know that the president signed a bill to increase the salaries and allowances of judicial officers by 300%? Am I missing something? Do they have different economies for doctors and judges in Nigeria? Or am I missing something? Is there a separate market for doctors, another one for judges in Nigeria? Or they pay the same amount per plate? Or per Congo? Daddy, we should look at economy.
There are other things beyond monetary compensation that is of value to individuals. There is meaning. This is our country. We have a moment in time that we can rebuild it and make it great. And there are difficulties that we'll have to walk through, and there are sacrifices that we'll have to make through.
You want doctors and nurses to sacrifice for Nigeria. What do you think that they've been doing all along? Let me start by saying we all appreciate that med school in Nigeria is heavily subsidized. We really appreciate it. But the salaries after graduation, it is ridiculous. A new nurse in Nigeria gets 80,000 naira per month. Basically the price of a bag of rice. But they increased it recently. They increased minimum wage. So the starting salary for a new nurse will now be 110,000 naira in Nigeria. That means the new nurse will be able to buy some tomatoes, some peppers, and maybe chicken to cook that bag of rice for her family. God, the highest paid nurse at a federal hospital in Nigeria, from what I heard, gets 320,000 naira per month. That is $200. That is $2,400 in a year for a well-paid Nigerian nurse at a federal hospital. No, some states pay more than that, like Lagos State, but some states pay less. As of December 2022, Zamfara State was paying new nurses 30,000 naira.
The Zamfara state government has embarked on 5 days training and sensitization of the newly recruited 1,000 healthcare personnel in the state. He assured that the newly recruited healthcare personnel will enjoy the 30,000 naira minimum wage.
The devil is saying, like, by the way, if you live in Zamfara State and you are a nurse, let us know how much it is now. Hopefully, it has increased. Can you imagine? And not just that, insecurity is a big issue for so many of our doctors that are working in remote places. In fact, not just remote places. Between 2016 and 2020, more than 600 health workers were killed in Nigeria. More than 400 were kidnapped. That is when it wasn't even this bad. Now, bandits are now raiding general hospitals. They raided in Niger State. They kidnapped 10 doctors and nurses. At least 14 doctors have been kidnapped in Cross River State over the years. More than 10 doctors were kidnapped within 2 months in Enugu. Did the health minister not hear about all these things? The 56 pages did not guarantee their safety. Meanwhile, they are able to work in remote places outside of Nigeria and not have to worry about their security. By the way, this America that they are going to has already done all these things that you are saying that you will do. But on top of that, depending on where you live, an average nurse in America makes at least $70,000 in a year. I'm talking about registered nurse, full-time nurse. And I know that some of them make way more than that. You know, depending on where you live, I just don't want to say everything so that your family members in Nigeria will not start calling you for money. Now, a full-time registered nurse makes at least $5,000 a month. And many of our African nurses, they like to do overtime because that is extra income. You know, now we have monthly bills here in America. I'm not saying that we don't have bills, but it is reasonable if you cut your clothes according to your size. You can live in a nice house. You can be driving really nice car. And a bag of rice in America will not cost you half of your salary. Doctors in Nigeria, if you just finished med school, I heard that they are getting paid 235,000 naira a month at a federal hospital. That is $150 in a month as a medical doctor. But even if you've been working for years as a medical doctor in Nigeria, the salary of a regular doctor in a federal hospital, I heard that it's not up to 1 million naira. If I am wrong, please let me know in the comment section. Meanwhile, you are not happy that Saudi Arabia is coming to recruit your doctors and nurses in Nigeria. But when these doctors and nurses get to Saudi Arabia, these same nurses that you are paying 110,000 naira, they are paying them 3 million naira per month. And they will pay them in foreign currency, 3 million naira per month for nurses. Doctors are getting paid 7 million naira per month. And they give them accommodation. They don't have to pay for housing. They give them food. They get at least 30-day paid leave. Some of them get way more than 30-day paid leave in Saudi Arabia every year. Some get way more than that. And they pay for their plane ticket to fly to Saudi Arabia. They pay for their visa processing. Shoo. You don't want them to leave. In America, doctors make at least $120,000 in a year. That is $10,000 a month, 15 million naira. I know I'm being economical because I know some of them make up to $20,000 a month, even $30,000 a month, depending on your specialty and where you live in America. You know that the big cities, they have higher living expenses. So you will make way more money in New York City, for example, than you will make in Alabama. No shades to Alabama, but houses there are way cheaper than if you're living in New York. And if you are a surgeon here in America, forget it. You make good money. But you are there. You are typing 55 page. I'm sorry. It is 56. Let's get that right. I don't want my father to feel like we are undermining his hard work. That one page is very important. You are writing a book, sir. 56 page on what you will do. Instead of you to just do it, you are now saying they should not leave.
There are doctors that are leaving the United States, coming back to Nigeria to set up practice, any much less, but it's meaningful to them. I know some that left the UK doing sophisticated, fantastic jobs in oncology that are setting up practices in Lagos. My colleague, the Minister of State, has a phenomenal practice in Chicago. He is here running around doing the work that we need to do to rebuild this country. And there are many folks like that.
No. Alagi, we need to talk. I've always told you I'm on speed dial. You're talking about people who left to another country to make good money abroad, and then they came back because they don't need your money anymore. They just want to give back. But the people that need your money, you are telling them they should make sacrifice? That is a wicked something.
So it's not just about military.
So you are not increasing the salary, bottom line, Minister. Are you doing that? Even if it's some little percentage, is there going to be an increase?
Come on. Recently, the president signed the minimum wage law.
Yeah.
And with that, there are implications. And there is a salary committee working on the compensation.
Again, I want to get anyone say because it is wickedness. By the way, I know some doctors that went back to give back, and they came back to America because they were frustrated by the system. It's not all of them that are happy to come back now. In fact, I need to call Alaji to see maybe he will come on the show. Although now that I have roasted his policy on this show, I cannot guarantee that he will come. But he's a very reasonable somebody, so hopefully he will come. Also, I will make another video on this is a different topic, but some of our nurses in Nigeria that are desperate to leave, you want to go and work abroad. Shoo, this is not for all of you, but for some of you, your work ethics and your lack of compassion for patients, it will not be tolerated outside of Nigeria because it is so unfortunate, but some of our nurses, you don't know how to treat patients with dignity. You shouldn't even want to leave Nigeria before you start treating people right. You need to start treating your own people right before you want to go and treat other people. In fact, that's a topic for another day, but some of our nurses, they have no compassion. God, if you hear stories. But I digress. I know that the economic situation is hard. There is economic hardship out there, we all understand. But you cannot take it out on your patients. They are not the ones responsible for the economic hardship. If anything, you should take it out on your officials. Besides, anybody can get sick. Nobody asks you to get sick, by the way. It can be anybody tomorrow. It can be you tomorrow. Some of you nurses, some of you doctors, would you like to be treated the way some of you treat your patients? Let me come back to my father's book, policy. Right now, my father, I think that we need to rewrite this your book. Benny, and you don't even need to make it just one page. You see how the president increased the salaries of our judges by 300%? Let's start with that. They will stop trying to go abroad. Benny, number 2, sponsor a bill or policy that will prevent government officials from going abroad for treatment. That one will solve all the problem. You see, the moment our governors, our lawmakers, our president, vice president, and our ministers, the moment they know that they will be treated in Nigeria by Nigerian doctors and nurses, they will ensure constant electricity, they will ensure constant water supply. Imagine that Nigerian doctors, sometimes they are operating on patients and the light will go off. What nonsense. They will be telling women in labor that there's no water to perform the C-section to deliver their babies at federal hospitals in 2024. You really don't need to write a book, my father. No, don't beg me. Let me talk to daddy. Why are you writing a book? Or just stop officials from going abroad for treatment. Everything will be sorted. Don't make me upset. By the way, now that your relatives in Nigeria know how much some of you are making in the abroad, not just Nigeria, by the way, because we have people that are watching that are not from Nigeria. My people in the abroad, save yourself before they come knocking. Benny, download Lemfi. It is an app that you will put on your phone that will allow you to send money directly from your phone from the US, UK, and Canada to Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Senegal, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin Republic with 0 transfer fees. They have the best rates, by the way. As of today, $1 is 1,578 naira. If you're sending the money to Nigeria, and they will get the money directly in their bank account, in their local currency. They don't need to be looking for where to change it. The best part is if you enter my name, Adeola, as promo code when you sign up, you will get $30 cash back. Benny, Lemfi will credit your account with $30 cash. That is when you send $100 at the time. Don't think that if you send $1, you get $30. No. So technically, you will be sending them $70 and they will be getting the value of $100 directly sent to their bank account. So you have nothing to lose. What is more convenient? By the way, they told me that some of you downloaded the app, but you're yet to send money. You cannot get the $30 cash back. You need to send money, send $100. And if you're watching this from any of those African countries, call your loved ones that are abroad, especially the doctors and nurses. Tell them to do what? Tell them to Lemfi your life, Benny, and Lemfi me, Lemfi my life. Now, guys, please share this video. Maybe the minister will see it and rewrite his policy. I don't know. Don't forget to subscribe if you're yet to. All right, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping real. I don't think here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, I'm watching you on Plasma TV. Press the subscribe button and the bell button. Until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out.